Death Note is the live-action adaptation of the popular anime, which is also considered one of the greatest animes ever made, and this is now a Netflix original film. A film that has got a lot of controversy before its release, but let's talk about it. This film is about a guy named Light Turner, who is a high schooler down on his luck, and when he finds the Death Note and he discovers Ryuk, the god of death, who tells him that he can write a name into this Death Note, and how did the person die, which will then have the person die that way. He and this new being go on this rampage, taking out a lot of evil people in the world, and becoming a cult hero, getting rid of evil known as Kira. And when law enforcement authorities start to look into this, stuff starts to go a little awry. When it comes to live-action adaptations of anime, it's always a dicey situation because you could either have something that works out really, really well, or you could have something that works out terribly. You could have something like Ghost in the Shell, which I think is really good, and so do a few people, even though it's very divisive. Or you could have something like Dragon Ball Evolution or The Last Airbender, which is some of the worst movies ever made. And let's talk about this one. So the positives of this film, there are some. Willem Dafoe as Ryuk. He was the best part of this film. And in fact, if you've seen the original, he really did a great job doing service to the character. They nailed the look of the character, the mannerisms of the character, the way the character spoke. Willem Dafoe's voice in this is chilling. Every time he came on screen, there were moments where he would be a silhouette in the background and he would be blurred out. I loved all that. I thought that was fantastic. And his interactions with Light were honestly my favorite bits of the film. I thought the performances, for the most part, were fine. I thought Nat Wolff was alright as Light. He did a good job in some moments, and then in some moments he wasn't very good. I thought Shea Wiggum as the father was alright as well. I thought Elle did a good job for a while again. And I thought the girl Mia, I thought she was also alright. The performances were serviceable enough. I thought some of the ideas that were raised were really interesting because it asks a couple of questions which kind of make you think about it, and I really liked some of the approaches they try to make. And I don't know if this counts as a major positive. It's a tiny little thing. There is a chase sequence at one point in time through Seattle, which I thought was really entertaining, and it was well filmed. So I really liked that. Let's talk about the negatives now. Death Note is an adaptation that honestly suffers from the biggest flaw an adaptation could suffer from: substance. This film is devoid of that. When I said that there are bits of Ryuk in this movie and the way it's done, I literally mean that. He's only in a few scenes of the film and he has very limited lines. The most he has to do is within the first 15 to 20 minutes of the film, and then you see him in only spurs throughout the film. He comes in for seconds and then he's gone, seconds and he's gone. He has a couple of lines here and there, and then he's gone. And that's all you really get of the character. Those are the best parts of the film, like I've already said, and if they had more of that, it would have been really great. And all of that aside, my biggest issue with this entire adaptation is a lack of depth. When I said it raises ideas, that's really it. It goes really surface level. There are moments where you're seeing this montage of the most wanted people getting killed or locked up and people refusing to go into crime more because of what Kira is doing. And I really like that approach. And if they gave it some more time, it actually raises a question like, what if you had that? What could you accomplish? But the film does it in this montage form, which made no sense to me. Like, why are you rushing through this? Because the pace of this film is really inconsistent. Sometimes it'll be this fast-paced action thriller, which gets a little exciting at points, like that chase sequence I mentioned, and the rest of the time, it is a slow burn to a lot of nothing. And sometimes there's a moment where you'll have an intense conversation. There's a great scene, for instance, between Light and Elle in the cafe, which I thought was really good. If you had more of those scenes, I think it would have been really awesome, but there wasn't. The questions the film could ask, it never really does that, and so it does feel like a wasted opportunity at many points during the hour and 40-minute runtime. There's also a love story in this film between Light and Mia. And the film wants you to believe in this love story because there is a payoff it's building to by the end of the film. And you just don't believe it because it's a really rocky way they've presented it. They want you to really believe that these two are in love with each other. And every time you are trying to, it's coming across really flat. There's a point where there's that montage, which I was talking about, of Kira carrying out all these things. and they'll be making out, and then they'll be celebrating someone's death, and then making out, and someone else's death. That's not how you do romance, and I didn't give a damn about their relationship. So when stuff starts to go down and you're supposed to care for these two's lives, you don't really care at all for them. And a lot of this has to do with the script. The script is a mess. This film has a lot of elements which I think if you develop them a lot more could work. There's supposed to be a sequel. I don't know how that's gonna turn out. And now let's talk about that whitewashing thing, which a lot of people have had a problem with. Well, whitewashing is essentially when you're taking ethnicities and changing them. They're not changing ethnicities, they're making their own version in America. This is a Seattle area. This is a Seattle-based film with Seattle-based people who are Americans. This is an American movie from start to finish. There is no Japanese relation over here. I guess you could say that Ryuk is kind of, but not quite. He's still Willem Dafoe playing Ryuk. So this is an Americanized version from start to finish. So does that come under whitewashing per se? Maybe, maybe not. In my personal definition, not quite. But if you think it does, then that's fine. And the other big issue of this film is the finale. For some reason, in the last 20 minutes of this film, the entire thing just falls apart to nothing. And I didn't really get it. It ends in a way that sets up a sequel, which could happen, which probably will because the director does want to do a sequel. We probably will get that sequel very soon, maybe in the next couple of years or whatever. I do hope that they improve on a lot of it though, because this film is one of those examples of, hey, there's potential here, but it's never really fully realized. And I think if you gave them more time, you could do a lot more. Because in the end, the Death Note film was pretty meh for me. There are things in it which I really like. I thought Ryuk was great in the total 10 minutes of screen time that he had. That's right. He only has 10 minutes in the movie. Those 10 minutes were the best parts of the film. I liked some of the performances. A couple of scenes were really good. I don't hate it. It's not like Dragon Ball Evolution. It's not like The Last Airbender. The best thing I can say, and this is my recommendation, I guess, you can watch it. You can look at it, and it won't kill you. That's the best thing I'll say about it. It's nowhere close to the anime, nowhere close at all. I'm gonna give Death Note a 5.5 out of 10. So guys, Death Note, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, let me know. Or what is your favorite anime adaptation so far? Let me know in the comments. You guys are the best. Thank you so much as always for watching. If you like this, please subscribe, and I will see you guys at the movies.